Just skip ahead about a minute. All right, there we go. Good evening, everyone. My name is Phil Gallagher. I run Thraben University. Normally, we're playing Death and Taxes on this channel, although we stream a handful of Thalia and Friends of Thalia decks. So just to flash a couple of deck lists here for those that are curious. Sorry, that got a little wonky. This is the D&T deck list that I've been playing recently. 24 land list with 3 Seraph Avengers, 2 Marin Crusaders in the flex slot. The 24th land has felt superb, very happy with that choice. As far as Red Prison goes, I've been going back and forth between 2 lists. This was my list that I came up with, sort of based off of the GP winning list. And then I recently got a 5-0, I think it was with this deck list. This is Zach Turgion's deck list, featuring notably 3 Karns and Great Furnaces to power them out. But that's not what we're doing today. Today I have a donation deck, and I do want to thank the 2 people who have donated to my stream and my efforts recently. So once again, thank you to Raymond V and MTGO user Cadaverous for your donations to help me do what I love to be doing. Like, I love to play Legacy, I love to produce Magic content, and people are helping me do that, and I couldn't be happier. So let's take a look at this deck list here. We are currently 2-1 in this league. Kind of got my butt kicked by Painter, but took down the other 2 matchups that I played. So essentially, we're a Stoneblade deck that uses the power of Gitaxian Probe well. So with Monastery Mentor, Cabal Therapy, and Meddling Mage, we get more value out of Gitaxian Probe than a lot of other decks do. The information also really helps you sequence like your spells and lets you know when you do and don't need to hold up mana. Armathalia says, how did the D&T League go? I joined and had to leave a minute after due to family emergency. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. The D&T League went fine. A few unfortunate things occurred, but we ended up 3-2ing, you know, so we did just a touch better than breaking even, and that's fine. Let me see what the matches were, and then if I refresh myself, I can tell you a little bit more. I streamed like 5 matches earlier, and some with Stoneblade, so I want to make sure I don't mix things up. So we were going into that one 2-0. We ended up losing to Steel Stompy pretty narrowly in one of the games, but kind of convincingly in the other. It nearly went to time, honestly, which is odd. There was a weird Vault Scourge Batter Skull with equipment fight. That was super interesting. Then we beat Goblins basically on the back of Seraph Avenger. And then we lost to Mill. It was a very interesting match, and we came down on the wrong side of it. Apparently, my opponent there was streaming as well, so I can go back and watch the other side of that. It's probably super interesting. Yes, Mill in Legacy, like Hedron Crab. Glimpse of Nature, Visions of Beyond, that sort of stuff. No, like legit Mill, like Archive Trap You. So I don't like to toot my own horn too much, but I played like super well in game 1 by not playing a Stoneforge or a Recruiter of the Guard, even though they looked like they were good surface level plays. I didn't play either of those so that I could play around Archive Trap, and then he played that stupid land, Field of Ruin, that forces you to search your library, so he destroyed one of my lands, made me search, and then, like, Archive Trapped me, and those 13 cards were, like, super relevant. So it was very interesting. I enjoyed it immensely. Legacy's great. I probably boarded suboptimally for that matchup too. Like, I was debating Rest in Peace, just thinking it would shut off Visions of Beyond, but I forgot about the Jace's Phantasms in the sideboard that they normally play, so I should have brought that in, and instead I had a Rest in Peace, or excuse me, I had a Surgical instead of a Rest in Peace, and that difference was pretty huge. Alright, so I'm just going to kind of like jam these last two games with this deck, excuse me, 2 matches with this deck, and we'll see how it goes. We're currently 2-1. Let's see what we can do. So since I streamed earlier today, this will just be a short stream. I'm just going to play out the 2 remaining matches here, and then probably call it a night. Now that my work is dying down, I have more time to stream, but I want to be very careful about burning myself out, because it's my intention to like stream a lot of Magic prior to Latin Academy to make up for the fact that my streaming schedule is going to get super wonky while I'm there. So I'm going to play a lot of Magic. I'm hoping to hit my next follower goal pretty soon. I'm at 867 now. At 900, we're going to do Elves and just like play the enemy. And then at 1,000, we're going to do 2 Nick Fit streams just for the absolute lulls. And I think that'll be pretty fun. What kind of Nick Fit? Now that's a great question. So the version I own on paper is Siege Rhino Nick Fit. But Nick Fit is basically magical in that like you can run the enchantment build with Overwhelming Splendor. You can run a Planeswalker build going as deep as you want, including like Nicol Bolas Godpharaoh deep. You can run a bunch of dinosaurs. You can run like the Burning Wish Scapeshift package. So essentially what I'm going to do is like when I get to the point where I'm ready to do those Nick Fit streams, I'm just going to like look at 20 Nick Fit decks and go, all right, which one of you is full of the most bullshit that is going to make my chat smile? And I'm probably going to pick that one. I don't want to like commit to any deck lists yet because I'm kind of hoping the Battle Bond cards will be on Magic Online by then. And then there's that new one that like lets you poop a Planeswalker. And I feel like I could just like shove that into a Nick Fit shell and it would be pretty good. Yeah, I know, that's the beauty of Nick Fit, right? Basic Planes. Like, you have a core set of cards you need to play, like Veteran Explorer, Green Sun, Cabal Therapy, Pernicious Deed, and then from there, there's a lot of wiggle room. I like builds that have a couple of Tireless Trackers in them, like at least one, because that card's just so good at bridging the gap. But other than that, I'm not too picky about my Nick Fit deck lists. Will I ever get paired? Alright, I want to pull up some Nick Fit deck lists while I wait. Alright, what is this comment? I just saw half of it. You should go for Greater Gargadon Titania combo. Okay, that's pretty funny, actually, Mad Matt. And like, it's actually kind of good, right? Because you could go like turn 1 suspend Greater Gargadon, turn 2 play Veteran Explorer, sack it to Greater Gargadon, get your lands, and just like herpa-derp-a-derp. Do the Nick Fit thing. Ooh, yeah, Muldrotha seems awesome. Someone showed that card to me the other day, and I was super impressed. Do you ever look at your hand and go, oh god, I'm not playing Death and Taxes? That's what just happened to me. I think my opponent plays Loam. Is this a good hand versus Loam? Probably not. But we're keeping because we have a Brainstorm. Not Loam. Do I want to just, like, Brainstorm for mana efficiency here? I feel like I should because I'm probably playing Stoneforge on turn 2 and getting Batterskull. And just, like, shuffling away one of these lands is probably good enough. So I'm going to make it look like I care about this Deathrite Shaman by brainstorming. Ooh! So I think I'm going to put back... Maybe I keep all my lands now that I got this Jace. And, like, put back Jitte and Scrubland, draw Scrubland. It's awkward that I can't do both of these 1-drops next turn. Or maybe I put back Therapy, Scrubland, draw Scrubland, just like play Stoneforge, and then turn 3 Swords and Stoneforge. That might be better. Excuse me, sir, this is a blue deck. Did you know this is a blue deck? Sir? Sir? Yes, this was a donation deck. Somebody paid me good money to put some blue cards in my D&T deck. And I'm A-okay with that. I mean, both the money and the blue cards part. I'm not opposed to blue cards. Like, I accept that, like, Brainstorm is the best card in Legacy. Not close. I just enjoy the playstyle of a lot of other decks more than I enjoy the playstyle of most decks that have Ponder and Brainstorm in them. Alright. I'm okay with this overall so long as my opponent doesn't have, like, another follow-up play with the Deathrite that commits to the board. I'll be a little sad if that is the case. Yeah, that's annoying. Brainstorm is okay, but have you seen this card called Aether Vial? I regret my choice immediately. That was supposed to be a Tundra. Fucked that up. Fucked that up real good. Did not get punished. Absolutely should have gotten punished. Make a mistake, doesn't matter, who cares, whatever. Blue cards, it's fine, it'll fix itself. Turn 2 planes, real mana base. Yeah, so like I thought to myself like, huh, I need a white source. And then I went and I looked at my lands and I went, oh, I want a second blue for Jace, and I just like clicked when like Tundra is absolutely the card that I want. Alright, so if I go for Jitte and my opponent just uses a removal spell on this Stoneforge Mystic, I'm kind of sad. But if I play this Mentor and my opponent has Culligan's Command, like, Culligan's Command on Mentor and Jitte is so much worse than Culligan's Command on Mentor and Stoneforge. Yeah, that's fine. Brainstorm, I guess. White mana. Okay. Was that a misclick, or was that just, like, trimming graveyards? Uh-oh. Well, that's the one card I didn't want. Yeah, like, if I keep the Jace, I'm so happy. If I keep the Mentor, I'm also so happy. But this Stoneforge is, like, dead now. It's just a 1-2 that can maybe shuffle my deck. Because the Batterskull's in my graveyard from the previous hymn. I'm gonna take the 2 life here on the off chance that I draw, like, another Mentor. Ugh, gross. It's not there. Stoneforge is a 1-2 that triggers Archive Trap. Yup, that is it. So about the best thing that can happen is my opponent doesn't cast the Edict on their turn. They wait till my turn, they let me equip, and I've drawn blue card, and I get to, like, force of will, pitch some cantrip, get in there, kill the Deathrite Shaman, and then, like, maybe start going to town? I don't know. Opponent has, like, way more cards than us, and our only card is bad. Oh god, a zombie fish. That's devastating. Next time, play a good deck. That... See what you're saying. See, like, how good would it have been if I had drawn a blue card and my opponent didn't have the angler? I would have, like, totally gotten them there. But now we're just on a 3-turn clock, so we're pretty screwed. I don't really know what gets me through all of this now. Like, Jace bounce Gurmag, Jace dies to 2 idiots, opponent still beats me to death with those, is bad. The Batterskull's not an out, it's in the graveyard. I guess I could draw a Mentor. My opponent could have literal nothing. There's another Strix. Or just like a true name or something. Leovold. Okay. Yeah. No good. Digging for Terminus. That would have been solid. So I want Sword of Fire and Ice. Council Judgment's probably good for Planeswalkers. I could consider trying to screw my opponent over with Back to Basics. I honestly don't have a ton for this matchup. I can Needle. It's just awkward that K command is so good. As D&T, I don't really want that many Swords to Plowshares, but I probably need to keep some here. Like, fighting the fight over the opposing Deathrite's pretty important, I think, when I'm playing this deck. So basically, I could see myself not wanting the card disadvantage of Force of Will. And that would mean I'd still need to bring in one more card, so I could, like, bring in the Flusterstorm or the Back to Basics. I guess Toxic Deluge can sweep away, like, opposing Strix, Deathrite, Leovold pretty cleanly. Less so Gurmag Angler, but it's possible. This Back to Basics is also probably good. Like, I have 4 basics to my opponent's probably 2. And if my opponent doesn't play towards those, this can hose them. Maybe I'll do Back to Basics on the play and something else on the draw. Or maybe just Flusterstorm is better. Just like, no to your him or K command or whatever is going to give you huge advantage. Alright, I buy that. Turn 1, Deathrite Shaman. Keep. Before I know what I need to fetch, I'm just going to lead on Trop. It's the worst land in the deck. Goodbye, little buddy. my opponent can't him me this turn, so I kind of want to name something like Baleful Strix or Culligan's Command that might be slightly annoying. If I name Baleful Strix, then my Stoneforge Mystic can, like, get a Batter Skull and start going to town. I could also just, like, name K Command because I care about that a lot. I'm going to name Strix. Feel like they have Strix. Well, I was right. That's the good news. The bad news is this fucking Blood Moon. I can just, like, sack my Deathrite, get the Blood Moon right here, and then, like, go Stoneforge into Stoneforge, and they don't have much left. But if I wait on doing this, the Pierce and Flusterstorm are going to mess me up. So I choose you. I sacrifice this creature. I mean, that's how greedy Pile can be, right? It's probably oh no, it does not incentivize them to Edict end of turn. I thought they would. That's a great draw. That makes me feel like they have something that matters. Oh, Leovold? Yeah, that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and not respect Blood Moon. How many of them can my opponent have? Yeah, ripping a land there to deploy Jace would have been pretty saucy. Like, that was the tap out opportunity I needed. Which is kind of why I removed the Leovold. I don't want all three of these. I have no way to shuffle. I'm gonna pitch this. I realize that like I could have played the Deathrite Shaman as a bridge to Jace, but that's soft to removal and doesn't let me put in my Sword of Fire and Ice. Which I really want to do, because then I can diversify my threats and have like both Stoneforge and Batterskull as meaningful cards. Deluge for 4, maybe? Yeah. So the current game is, did my opponent keep Spell Pierce when they brainstormed? My gut says that if they found other things, they shuffle away Pierce and Flusterstorm. So I'm going to go ahead and slam Jace. If I'm wrong, I'm okay with that, because I'd much rather play Mentor when I have a cantrip available to produce a second body. Or that. And yes, chat, I am A-okay with just using that as a 1 blue mana, create a 1/1 monk with prowess. I'm A-okay with that exchange there. Snapcaster Edict, I guess? Oh, just Snapcaster Brainstorm. Interesting. Maybe that means there's a push or a bolt or something that I'm not going to enjoy. You gonna Pyroblast my Ponder? No, you're gonna Red Elemental Blast my Ponder. Okay. So this is probably going to be K Command, Blow Up Sword, and Stoneforge. Yep. So opponent will need a source of card advantage to kind of stabilize their game. But I have this, like, Batterskull bounce inevitability. I'm gonna hold that island. I can't pay for a Spell Pierce anyway, so I'd rather be, like, representing Force of Will backup and have something to brainstorm away. What's the 4-mana 2/2 that searches a land, and when it dies, it draws a card? Solemn. Oh, somebody else got that. Solemn Simulacrum. EDH Superstar. And that was a shuffle off the Ponder, which means good things for me. $100% willing to pay life here? Yeah. Red Flusterstorm Trop. Baleful Strix into a couple of runners can do some stuff here. Unfortunately, like, the Baleful Strix itself doesn't save them. Neither does that. Alright, so they're just dead to what I have. So I go kill a Strix. Cast a Council's Judgment. Remove Deathrite, and then swing lethal. Yeah, Gataxian Probe. Definitely cheating. It just makes it so easy and so safe. Okay, if I know my opponent has that random one of Blood Moon, do I want to change anything about what I'm doing? I don't think I want to bring in a Disenchant just for one card. Yes, Army of Thalia. I absolutely hate that. Yeah, I was on the fence about the back to basics end step top. Like, I don't know that I love that on the draw. Sure, but if I'm using a Disenchant on a Strix, I'm on the losing end of that equation. Like, there are two cards in the sideboard that I'd consider playing, and they're Back to Basics and Toxic Deluge. They might be better than Swords to Plowshares. So what if I do this? What if I go like -2 swords, plush, deluge, and back to basics? I'm not sure on that back to basics. Ooh, and I get to just sequence everything with perfect information. Oh man, opponent has fucking nothing. Wow. And the opponent shuffled with the Ponder too. That's great. So I'm gonna get Underground Sea with this one. And play a Deathrite. I want the white mana for, like, my two real threats that are in hand. But I want to be able to cantrip more if the Deathrite gets answered. Alright, opponent drew a card. One that matters. One that's castable. Alright. Deathrite Shaman. That's pretty good, but I'm going to get to use my Deathrite Shaman first. So I kind of like ponder, try to find removal for their Deathrite. If I don't, just use my Deathrite to produce Stoneforge. I don't feel like I need to brainstorm yet. My hand's pretty darn good. Let's ponder and figure out what I want to do. I can just take a land here and shuffle the others away. Like, take island for, like, random blood mooning. Play Stoneforge. Get probably Sword of Fire and Ice. Yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to get Batterskull to give myself the possibility of Toxic Deluge for 3 and wipe my opponent's board and leave me with a board. That is indeed a Leovold. So my opponent has 1 unknown. That's pretty good. 1 unknown card plus 3 lands. Just gonna go ahead and drain my opponent now. Don't need to fight the, like, letting his Deathrite get active fight. Dude, geez, taking double mentor is kind of rough. I mean, I accept it, but it's pretty decent. Rude confirmed, yes. My opponent has 1 unknown card. Do I just force it to be a Pierce and try to Deluge right now? I probably don't need to do that yet. Not Brainstorm with Leo in play. Let's not do that. Yeah, I'm going to wait 1 turn. I'm going to put my Jitte in play. that Verdant Catacombs was a land that I did not know about. Moon. How do I feel about that? I think I'm okay with that, honestly. I think I try to eat my opponent's him in response. They'll probably eat it right back. Then I put in my Jitte. And then I have, like, colorless removal. I'll have a Brainstorm as a follow-up. Or I can use my Deathrite Shaman to produce mana, and yeah, this is fine. This is you or a permanent. Okay, so I can just freely do this. Oh wow, opponent just let me make mana. So now I probably move one of these over to the Stoneforge to, like, be presenting two lethal attackers. I guess it's not two lethal attackers. So, end step top, oh, you mean after this play? sure, like on my next turn, I could have like used this death right to eat a land and like gotten rid of this. But things were pretty grand already. And if I had like tried to main phase eat a land, my opponent would have just like checked me and done that, so I couldn't have done that this turn. Oh, okay, I see, sorry. I just saw that now. I don't remember what I did there. All right, so we lost that first round with this deck, but then we've gone 3-0. In spite of ourselves, really. Like I have definitely made misplays. I've definitely made errors playing this deck, just like unquestionably. If you want to play Stoneblade, what you need to do is just like be a Stoneblade player, and I'm a very big believer in this because Stoneblade presents you with a wide variety of tools, but every tool is very specific. So you have to figure out like what you can accept and what you can let go versus like what you need to counter. To just like do a super simple example, you don't need to counter a creature if you have a Swords to Plowshares, right? Well, it's that sort of thing, but exemplified a whole bunch. And when you have like discard and counter spells and removal spells and planeswalkers and equipment, and you just have like all of these different ways to attack your opponent, then you're sometimes left with the wrong pieces at the wrong time, and you don't always have Brainstorm to save you. So you have to do a decent amount of planning out to make sure that what you're doing is going to work. But Phil, I want to play all the Stoneforge decks. I love Stoneforge. I love Stoneforge. It's no Thalia, but it's a great Magic card. I'm sure we'll end up playing other interesting Thalia decks. Or, excuse me, interesting Stoneforge decks. Like, I'm sure at some point I'll end up playing, like, some Dead Guy Ale or some Blue-White Red Stoneblade or something like that. What if we play Stoneforge with our Death Right? Herp and derp. Seriously, though, Death Right Shaman's a stupid card. It just does everything. Joyous Potato. I feel like this person's been in my stream before. I recognize this name. So this is a Deathrite Shaman hand, so we keep this. What if we play Deathrite Shaman, Cabal Therapy, Stoneforge Mystic, and Gitaxian Probe all in the same deck? Yeah, but we probably need a Jace to hold it together. Maybe, 8 more cantrips. Then maybe it'd be okay. So I'm pretty damn tempted to just go, like, basic this game. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't know what my opponent's playing. But if it's a Wasteland deck, I'm going to be really glad I took the decision I did. It's slightly awkward if this Deathrite Shaman gets removed, because then I can't, like, ponder and shuffle on my turn. But that's not happening. I am just jamming here. If my opponent had, like, a Lightning Bolt in their opener, they would have just Lightning Bolted the Deathrite Shaman, because that's what you do. So, I think just, like, playing this Mentor is probably pretty safe. Unless my opponent pondered into a Lightning Bolt the previous turn. Alright, so it looks like Pile. No, Storm. In which case my Ponder eats it, and then my clock isn't as fast as I would like. Yeah. Yeah. I'm still going to get the basic planes here, and this is more for misinformation than anything else. I want my opponent to really have back to basics on their mind for the post-sideboard games. I'll try to find a Force of Will here. This deck's dumb. How is this okay? Oh, my opponent has Ad Nauseam and Rite of Flame. Ah, opponent, I see you too play with good Magic cards. And I'm just going to, like, let my opponent see my hand. because, like, their win condition at this point is ad nauseum. They're at 13 life. If they duress me, they can't also, like, get rid of my Spell Pierce. So they will leave me either with Force or Spell Pierce. And if they leave me with Force, then next turn I just, like, Jace Brainstorm for a blue card. Oh, geez, Dark Ritual is, like, the perfect draw there. Yeah, so Dark Ritual plus Rite of Flame makes exactly 5 mana, so they can go for the Ad Nauseam. But the Ad Nauseam from 13 with 0 mana left is not safe. They have no initial mana source yet. Alright, so they can make not enough mana. That's getting somewhere. That's not good enough yet, right? So that's Ritual up to 6. Alright, so that's 3 more Storm. That's up to 8 Storm. That's not good for them. They have to go. Oh, shit. That does it, right? Well, damn. That turn went, like, so incredibly perfectly for my opponent. I'm kind of sad about that. Like, they had the discard spell to stop me from forcing. They drew into, with 1 draw, the card they needed to attempt to go off. They then had just enough mana to do so. Alright, so we get EE for goblins, Toxic Deluge for goblins, Zealous Persecution for goblins, Meddling Mages for cards that matter, Flusterstorms and Surgicals for cards that matter. Well, this is Tess, right? They have the red mana ritual, so that makes it Tess. But yes, Tess can do some very broken things. So, am I supposed to just, like, cut these 6 cards and plan on winning with Deathrite Shaman and Mentor or Jace? Or is, like, bringing in Zealous Persecution and Deluge just worse than leaving in, like, 2 Stone Forges and 1 Batterskull? Okay, so Ant is primarily a deck that wins via Past in Flames, and it uses Cabal rituals to accelerate mana harder, and it has a little bit of a better game than Tess. Tess tries to go faster, and so it plays the red rituals, Rite of Flames, so that you can go a little bit quicker. And whereas Ant tends to win with Past in Flames, Tess often wins with, like, a Burning Wish package that usually involves Empty the Warrens. Essentially, Tess is a better Ad Nauseam deck, and Ant is a better Past in Flames deck. I don't have the matchup experience to know whether or not, like, boarding all of this out is boarding out too many win conditions. Like, I have 11 creatures left and 2 Jaces as win conditions. That seems like enough. I'm going to keep this, and I'm going to hope to ponder into a land that lets me cast my spells. I have Force of Will as an initial safety net. So I have two pieces of good interaction. Wow, this is great. So next turn I can Therapy them and Spell Pierce. Ooh, I'm good. I will end of turn Brainstorm to try to hit my next land drop. So for those of you not familiar with playing Cabal Therapy, essentially when you play Cabal Therapy, you pick a card that would be very good against you, like a card that allows your opponent to win or progress their board or do something that you care about, and you name that card. My opponent can fetch and Dark Ritual if they want to pay for this. But I want to know what their hand is. That information's so valuable for me. Alright, that duress is pretty good. So what can my opponent do? My opponent can go Swamp, Dark Ritual, tap 2 lands, that's 5 mana, Infernal Tutor with 3 floating. That's not good enough to do anything I care about. They would need 2 more mana, so they'd need another Ritual before anything they do matters to me. I can play Mentor and take a risk for a turn, but have huge upside if I untap with it, or I can just, like, brainstorm, find any angle of disruption, and then play Deathrite. I think that's what I want to do. That's bad for me. So I'm going to hide the Toxic Deluge. I think I'll just hide it 1 down. Yeah. So, like, I obviously didn't know what was on top, but, like, given what was on top, the Mentor would have been the better play. Unfortunately, I don't have a cantrip coming next turn. I have a Plains. I guess the good news is that if my opponent ad nauseums, they're only at 12. And a natural storm kills probably pretty hard with the resources they currently have. Islands, I'm disappointed. Well, Agate, thanks for subscribing anyway. I appreciate your continued support. If it makes you feel better, this is a donation deck, so I did not play Islands of my own volition. I was bribed. Just like I'm gonna get bribed to play Elves when we hit, what is it, 900 followers? So then you'll be super disappointed because I'm playing Forests. So my opponent's thinking pretty hard. I don't know what that means. I won't be disappointed until you play Wastes. I've never registered Wastes in a Legacy deck of any nature. I'm gonna pause for a minute here. Just make it look like I'm thinking. And I'm gonna let that happen. Alright, so they're all in on something. What is that something? Infernal Tutor, okay. Is it going to be Adnos? It is Adnos. So I probably just nug them now. It's very unlikely that they'd go for a Past in Flames kill. So I'm just going to eat a Rite of Flame, since that's relevant. And we'll see what happens. So the results of this, this ad nauseum dictate how well I do. Well, opponent has to keep going now. They're committed. Still probably have nothing here. What am I missing? Oh, is this just going to be like try to brainstorm into it instead? Okay, that's reasonable. Yeah, so now my opponent brainstorms and they get like 3 new cards to try to go for it. Because this stuff isn't doing it. Burning Wish Tendrils. Yep. That's unfortunate. Alright, well, I felt pretty good about that based on where I was at a turn or two ago. But that brainstorm whiffing was super bad. Like, if I had any piece of disruption, whether that was like 1 more counterspell, a piece of discard, I feel like I probably could have gotten there. But seeing Land Deluge off that brainstorm was rough. Opponent did things, we died to things. That is indeed how that works. Okay, so this was fun. I want to say a few things with the deck list about the deck list now that I've played it. Number one, when the donor sent me the deck list, they said, I understand if you don't want to play this because this might not be the best meta deck, but I think this deck's really cool and I'd love to see someone play it. So I think the potential issue with the deck is Monastery Mentor, right? Like in a Stoneblade shell, you've got to decide what 3-drops you want to play. And prior to the printing of True Name Nemesis, you used to see things like Vendilion Click as like something that's kind of disruptive, kind of a good beater, carries equipment well. But now I think largely True Name Nemesis just invalidates everything else at the 3-drop slot in the Stoneblade deck. So even though we're playing really good synergy with it, with Gataxian Probe and Cabal Therapy, I think just playing True Name Nemesis is better. So if I were to play something like this, I'd want 4 copies of True Name Nemesis, and then I'd probably ditch the Probe and Therapy suite for, like, maybe some actual factual counter spells, and then maybe, like, a pair of Thought Seizes or something like that. Then maybe play, like, 1 more land to compensate for the fact that I'm losing Probe, and maybe throw a couple of back to basics in the main deck, because getting them is really fun. Personally, I like blue-white Stoneblade better than most of the other Stoneblade decks, but Deathrite Shaman is a really powerful magic card. I'm sure you've probably heard and seen the things that it's done. So just like gluing any shell like this together with Deathrite Shaman works out pretty well. I enjoyed playing this deck. It was fun. I feel like we we played good interactive Magic most of the time, and the times where Mentor did take off, though, it was silly. When that card goes unchecked, it is just dumb, and it's often just like a 2-turn clock or something like that. You play that, you play a couple of cantrips the following turn, and then the turn after they just die. Yeah, see, by like playing Mentor, Probe, and Therapy, you don't get things like Counterspell, Snapcaster Mage, and like Thoughtseize. And I do wonder if that package is just better than what I played today. Again, I definitely made some misplays. I was unsure about my sideboarding. But I feel like a close to blue-white Stoneblade deck with like counterspells and back to basics, or a closer to, or just like keeping it as a 4-color Deathblade deck that just plays the other cards might be better. But I enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun. I played more slowly, like in terms of speed, than I normally do other decks, just because I'm kind of unfamiliar with this. But that's okay. So folks, that's all I'm going to stream for today, since I did, you know, a league and a half today. But I'll probably stream a bit tomorrow morning. Not sure what I want to play yet. But it's pretty likely I'll mess around a little bit tomorrow morning. I've got afternoon plans, and I have some packing I should be doing. But I'm trying to stream a bit more. And I'm in process of writing a couple of articles right now. I've got a Red Prison article coming out probably sometime next week. And I've got a big, like, 2-year Thraben University retrospective article coming up now. Don't leave me, you jerk. Yeah. Good game, Phil. Glad I could get you getting stormed out. Ha! You had to watch me play Islands, so the suffering is equal. Okay, folks, I'm going to send you over to another D&T streamer. I'm going to send you over to XJ Cloud, who was playing Legacy D&T earlier. He was saying he was going to move on to Modern later. I don't know if that's happened yet. But thank you all for watching, and I just want to shamelessly plug Card Hoarder for letting me borrow the sweet cards that made this donation deck work. Cheers. Oh no, XJ Cloud is now auto-hosting me. Now I need to find someone else to auto-host. Or, I guess, regular host. I don't really see anything. Right, XJ Cloud, just terrible timing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I'll just let AutoHost do its thing. Night, folks.